Change is hard, even good change. We had a big change on our homestead last week, and we've taken a few days to process, even grieve a little, and now we're ready to share it with you. But before we go into it, we want to go get some work done in the garden.
Summer is flying by, which can make some people's hearts sink. Honestly, it makes mine sink a little bit, but don't worry. We're not the kind of people that are gonna like plow through to the next season before it's actually time. We're gonna soak up every single last drop of summer. We do have to think about fall though, because we have to prepare for it. I have a few fall crops that I like to grow, mostly just carrots. I did some cucumbers, and also I want to do some greens and stuff, so we're going to be doing that today. This was the raised bed that I grew my broccoli in. A lot of it has kind of composted in here, but there's still some big pieces that I don't want to plant into. So I'm just going to get rid of some of those. And this bed I want to plant full of carrots. Fall carrots are so good. They're like really, really sweet. And I also just like to have those as a backup to use towards the end of winter, because those are going to store longer because they were grown later. I could have gotten rid of all of this debris like right when I pulled these out, but I do like to throw them on top of the soil to like protect it and cover it while it's empty. I do not ever like to just completely leave soil bare in the hot sun. And it also keeps the weeds down so that I don't have so much weeding to do then. This bed here is going to get skipped with the composting this fall when we compost, because it's going to be full of carrots. So I'm going to compost this right away. There was a few beds last year that didn't get composted because they were full of stuff, because I replanted without composting, and the soil in those this year wasn't nearly as good. It wasn't nearly as soft, so I'm definitely not going to skip composting this bed.
We need to get compost on that raised bed right there, but while we've got the wheelbarrow here, I want to get this raised bed cleared out. This is where the cucumbers were. They're all dead and gone. We got a lot of cucumbers from these this year though. Then we've got these nasturtiums here. I'm going to go ahead and pull these out. The point of planting these here was to keep away as many squash bugs as possible. They may or may not have helped. We did deal with less squash bugs this year than any other year, but now they're just attracting aphids to the garden. So they need to get out of here. And then we're going to take this trellis and move it down to another bed, because Michelle just planted some more cucumbers a couple weeks ago, and they're getting ready to where they're going to be starting to go up the trellis. See, I just feel like if we were doing this with gravel in the pads, like see all the leaves and stuff that would be getting into the gravel and like dirt that gets shaken off the roots. Just don't think that would be good. See if I can make these out to the chicken pen. Bums away! And with how hot it is today, can you imagine trying to walk barefoot on that black plastic?
No. I mean, we would just have to wear sandals. We couldn't just go barefoot.
That's some pretty nice stuff. It is definitely a little chunky here and there, but that'll break up, break down. For the most part, that's really nice.
We're definitely very
good.
sloppy composters.
Novice composters, but it works.
But it works.
It's been building up our garden for years, and it's working. While Michelle is over there raking that out, I want to get this taken out and moved over to that other bed over there.
I'm going to be planting carrots in this bed, and carrots are very fine, and so they need a really nice fine soil bed to be planted into. So I am getting some of the chunks out of this compost and throwing them on a bed that doesn't matter. They'll break down over there, and then this will be nice and smooth for the carrot seedlings.
I'm gonna try it a little different this time. Michelle didn't quite like it how it was before. It was like really skinny and steep. She's thinking maybe with it a little flatter, these might crawl up it a little better.
I'm just gonna do like 3 rows of carrots in this bed. Last year I planted too many carrots, and so this year I'm gonna take it a little more easy. Carrots can be really tricky to get to germinate in heat like this. It's like a sauna out here today. So we're gonna put boards over top of them. We found that the boards were unnecessary this spring because it was nice and cool. The carrots came up fine on their own. But in heat like this, I would highly, highly recommend putting boards on top so that your carrots will actually germinate. On days like this, when it's super hot outside, we really like to take a break, go on adventures, things like that. So right now we're gonna take you to an adventure that we did just the other day, and we're gonna tell you about today's sponsor.
When we're looking for snacks to take on adventures, it's always hard to find something tasty, but not sugary. I like our adventure snacks to be fun, but I don't want them to always be sweet. I think that Chomps is the perfect snack to grab because they're really easy. They don't need to be kept refrigerated or anything like that. They don't have any junky ingredients in them at all. They are made with grass-fed beef. I think it's so cool because they are supporting farmers who are using regenerative agriculture practices like rotational grazing and stuff like that. The one that I've got here is their original flavor. They've also got jalapeno and they've got some other flavors. Both of these right here are really good and I can't wait to try some of their others. Come get it. Grab it, grab it, grab it. It's sinking, grab it. Go get it. Will she rescue it? She got it, woohoo!
I'm really loving these Chomps beef sticks because I can't tolerate a ton of dairy in my diet and I still want to get tons of protein for blood sugar regulation. These are perfect because they have 10 grams of protein in them.
So to find out more about them, click the link in our description below.
What I wouldn't give to be at the river right now. I'm planting Danvers. Again, these are Danvers 126. For some reason, they're not called Danver half-longs anymore, but they're the same thing as far as I know. I like to seed my carrots nice and thick. I would much rather come back through and thin them than not have a good germination rate. Carrots need very even moisture in order to germinate. I'm always really picky with my carrots staying nice and cool and damp, which is why the boards really help them to germinate well. Cody is measuring the raised bed to make some boards for the carrots. And so in the meantime, I came over here to look at my peppers and I realized that there's a whole bunch of them that are ready. They're so pretty. They're loving this heat much more than I am. These look like they would be so spicy, but they're actually not. They're like really sweet, kind of taste like pineapple. They are Jimmy Nardello, Cody's favorite.
Like Michelle said a little while ago, it is so hot out here. It's time for lunch, so we're gonna go take a break, eat some lunch. We really want to tell you about the changes that are happening around here. And to do that, we're gonna have to take you back in time for a little bit. So I'm gonna roll some footage from about a week ago. I haven't done this in a while. And you may wonder why I'm doing this. I'm doing it out of a little bit of nostalgia, I guess. This morning is the very last morning that I'll be milking Maddie. I know. It's really sad, and now that it's actually here, it's actually happening, and I'm to this place, kind of second guessing my decision. But there's been a lot of thinking, praying, trying to figure things out and everything that's gone on behind this. So it wasn't just a quick, easy decision, but it's something that we feel is what's best for our family right now. We've got a couple dairy allergies in our family. So we've been actually looking into sheep's milk because that supposedly is something that they would be able to tolerate. This sadness, I guess, is tempered with a bit of excitement. The sheep aren't coming right away. We're not planning on getting them right away. We're gonna take a little more time to do some research. I'm gonna need to do some stuff to my fences, maybe modify the barn a little bit, but we'll get there. As a lot of you probably know, the cow is probably my favorite thing on our homestead. So this is really hard for me. It's gonna be hard not having a cow, not coming out here every morning. It'll be nice in some ways. If I wanna sleep in, I can sleep in if I want to. We won't be tied down every morning and need to find somebody to milk every time we're gone. Honestly, I think one of the hardest things for me is gonna be that milking a cow has been part of my identity for so long. We've had a cow now for, I don't know, like 8 years or something. And it's become part of my identity. You know, when people hear that we homestead, and you know, we can say we have gardens, we have chickens, but a lot of people have gardens, a lot of people have chickens, but not many people have a milk cow. So, you know, it's been cool for me to be able to say, yeah, we have a milk cow. I go out and milk my cow every morning. Now I feel like that's gonna be kind of taken away, but I guess I can't let my identity be wrapped up in that. One more shout out to Shenandoah Homestead Supply where you can get these awesome stainless steel buckets. One thing that I think almost surprised me a little bit was how hard our kids are taking it that we're getting rid of our cow, but I think they'll also have a lot of fun with sheep. Another really exciting thing, and this is actually kind of crazy how it worked out, is we just mentioned to somebody we know that we were thinking of selling our cow. They mentioned it to another person here in the community. That second person is actually the one that's gonna be buying our cow. And they just live like, I don't know, 10 miles away or something. And we will actually be able to be a part of their herd share and be getting Maddie's milk until we get sheep. Like, how cool is that? And the other really cool thing about it is it's someone that I can trust. They're related to my cow mentor. And so they know all about Guernsey cows. I just think that is so cool. Because even though there are some dairy sensitivities here, I don't have any dairy sensitivities and I don't want to stop getting milk. So we're at least going to be able to get a few gallons a week, just enough to, you know, drink fresh and stuff like that. That one's about full. The rest of this will just stay in this bucket. We need one last cup of warm milk straight from the cow. Good girl, Maddie. Come on, Maddie. She hasn't gone in a trailer since I got her.
Come on, Maddie.
Well, growing up with beef cows, this is a totally different animal. They're all over there, man. Just like
Hey, Maddie. I've told you my side of it now, and Michelle will tell you her side of this whole thing in just a minute.
It's the beginning of August, so I need to get this bed filled with greens so that we'll have a fall harvest. And these greens will also then, this planting of greens will also feed us then on into the winter. Last year, I'm pretty sure I had some fresh greens from this cold frame in January. This is like a perfectly good piece of lettuce right here.
Nice.
I left all of these things in here because I was thinking about possibly trying to save seeds from these lettuce heads, but I think I missed the seeds. I think they like flew away. Also, I just don't like to have the ground bare because it just bakes in the sun. Check out this dill seed. So cool. It's like dried
Selling Maddie was really hard on me for a few reasons. First of all, I was the one who brought up this whole idea of selling Maddie in the first place, so I feel somewhat responsible. Also, knowing that the milk cow is Cody's favorite part of the homestead made this decision really difficult for me, and just for the record, Cody has been very understanding and supportive, so we're on the same page with this decision. I love everything about having a milk cow, the routine, the fresh milk, bottomless butter, but for quite a while now, one of our kids has been having some substantial health issues. She was recently diagnosed with a dairy intolerance, and around the same time, I was told by my doctor that I also have an allergy to cows and goat's milk. This diagnosis was pretty rough on me since frankly it's just not very cool to be a homesteader who drinks coconut milk, and also I just really love a good latte.
So this right here was cilantro that went to seed, completely died. These tiny little balls are called coriander. They're used to season like Mexican foods and stuff. These are the seeds. I'm just gonna leave them here on the soil. I don't actually gather these and use them as a seasoning. I just let these reseed themselves. I'm just gonna throw some compost on top of this, and I'm gonna have this beautiful bed of cilantro this fall. I do this every year. It works amazingly. I never have to buy cilantro anymore.
I'm the one who does the majority of the cooking for our family, and I've noticed that whenever I serve anything with dairy, the kids just don't feel well afterwards. We don't have any like violent reactions, we just feel really green. The only way that I've found that we can eat dairy and feel well is raw milk kefir, and you can only drink so much kefir. Maddie's a rock star, and she's still giving around 4 gallons a day, which means I have roughly 25 to 28 gallons of milk coming into my kitchen every single week. We're only drinking around 3 to 4 gallons a week, so you can kind of see my problem. We did have some herd share customers and could easily have found more customers, but selling raw milk in Ohio is illegal. Yeah, don't get me started. We only felt comfortable selling to close friends that we trust, so expanding the herd share program wasn't something that we really wanted to do. I skimmed all the extra milk and made butter, but we can only eat so much butter. My freezer already has a year's worth of butter in it. For so long, I've been approaching me and the kids' dairy issues with a judgment mindset. I told myself that if we were truly healthy people, we'd be able to eat dairy and thrive on it, and when that never completely happened, I got really frustrated and discouraged. I was constantly asking myself, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And my doctor actually caught on to this and told me that it's very important to approach my health and my children's health with compassion. I took her very seriously, and I've been intentional with my attitude and my mindset since. So lately, I've been in this acceptance mode. No matter how much we love Maddie, dairy just isn't serving the kids and I right now, and I'm choosing to be okay with that. I've also come to believe that everyone's physiology is different, and a perfectly fine food that serves one person well might not serve the next person as well, and that's perfectly okay and perfectly normal. When I was talking with my doctor about my allergy to cow and goat's milk, to my amazement, she told me that I'm not allergic to sheep's milk. So of course, I started madly researching dairy sheep and spewing all sorts of sheep milk facts to Cody. I've been listening to podcasts and doing some reading, and everything I'm hearing about sheep's milk is very positive and exciting. So while selling Maddie was a huge loss and we've all had some meltdowns over it, we're also really excited for a new adventure that will hopefully involve some sweet dairy sheep next spring.
When you're planting crops like in the summer, they can be a little bit high maintenance because of the heat. So you're gonna have to really keep them moist. And this place, thankfully, is a little bit shielded from the sun during the afternoon, which works really nicely for salad greens. Lettuce and stuff, they don't like to germinate when it's really, really hot. So try to choose a week where there's at least a few days where it's not just scorching hot. I'm going to do winter density as well as Michelle. I like to sow my lettuce really thickly. I've found that it germinates better if you sow it thick, and then you can just thin it down. I used to plant spinach and Swiss chard and things like that just because it was so much fun. I really enjoy planting them, but my family doesn't like eating them. So I just do lettuce now. By the way, this hand hoe is amazing for anything with raised beds. I really like it. Lettuce and carrots are pretty much the extent of my fall gardening. I personally would rather have like a massive summer harvest and then preserve things than try to do a smaller summer garden than have a fall garden. This is going to depend on like how much land you have. If you don't have much land, it's gonna be really good to take like full advantage of both seasons. But for myself, I have to start homeschooling in the fall, and I like to just have all of my gardening completely done. And I can do that with all of my preserving and stuff. So at this point in my life, I keep fall gardening as well as winter gardening very, very, very minimal. I have in the past done like a succession planting of green beans for the fall. What I found was that my green beans were ready, and I was in the middle of tomato canning season. I was in the middle of picking raspberries, and everything just felt like I was just so overwhelmed because there was so much to do. So I've just kind of steered clear of that at this point. I'm gonna water these seeds very, very deeply. You do not want your soil to dry out if you are trying to germinate anything in the heat. It can be a little bit tricky to start fall crops, but if you keep them nice and watered, you'll have a really great chance. We've been growing greens for the fall and winter in a cold frame like this for close to a decade now. Just last year, we actually rebuilt this cold frame because the former one was rotting. If you'd like to see how we built this, you can watch this video right here.
Guys, don't splash each other, okay?